Okay, Ralisha, we are just talking about the transportation in human beings right now. Okay, so what actually the transportation in if I am considering here, wait a minute. Okay, transportation in human beings. Okay, transportation in human beings is broadly classified into two parts. We have just classified there are two types of transport systems in our body. One is the circulatory system. Okay, another one is the lymphatic system. There are the two types of system that are present in our body. Okay, one is circulatory system, another one is the lymphatic systems. Actually, why we are studying the transportation and why it is important, first of all we need to discuss this one. Transportation means that if we are transferring something from position A to position B, we will consider it as a transportation. Okay, and not only in human beings, but we can say that transportation is an essential life process. Essential life process. It is an essential life process. Means every living organism. If we are considering any living organism that it is alive, so there must be transportation. Means transportation must take place. Okay. If the transportation stops, then we can consider that organism as dead. So it is an important criteria to decide whether something is living or not. If the transportation is being done in its body, then we can say that it is alive, that object is alive or that organism is alive. Otherwise it will be considered as dead. Okay, so not only at the human beings, we are not considering we are not taking the complex organism only. Actually we can say that at the cellular level, if you are taking a cell, single cell, okay, this is the nucleus present here. Okay, and these are the endoplasmic reticulum. Okay, these are the endoplasmic reticulum, and there are the Golgi complex or Golgi bodies. Okay, they plays an important role in transportations. There are the other functions also of Golgi bodies and endoplasmic reticulum, but they also controls and plays an important role regarding to the transportation. So not only the transportation is being done in the complex organism, at the cellular level it is also being done. So transportation is an essential criteria for a living organism to say whether it is alive or not. Okay, now the transportation in human beings, we are just considering our topic is transportation in human beings actually. So if I am taking transportation, there are the two types of systems are present in our body. One is the circulatory system, another one is the lymphatic system. Okay, what is circulatory system? Actually, circulatory system consists of one heart, that is a pumping organ. Okay, another one is the blood vessels that are the pipes or arteries, vein or capillaries. Okay, and the next one is dear student, that is blood. Okay, they are the three types of we can say that they are the three parts that constitute the circulatory system. One is the heart, blood vessels and the blood. Okay, so let's talk about each of them in details, how we can consider them one. Okay, so first of all we just talk about the heart. Actually, heart is made up of an unfatigable muscles. Unfatigable muscles means that never fatigue, that never got tired. Okay, actually we can say that there are so many different types of muscles that are present in our body. So that skeleton muscles is present. Okay, and the similar way smooth muscle is present. Okay, so this one is the cardiac muscles, from which we can say that the heart is made up of. It is the cardiac muscles, and actually we can say that the cardiac muscles never fatigue. Means whenever it got fatigued, we can say that we are going to leave this earth or we are going to die. Okay, actually this we can consider that it is an unfatigable muscles. It never fatigue since we take birth and till our last breath. The heart will be continuously pumping the blood. Okay, and it is working. Say thanks to God for such a special organ that has He created to us, given to us. Okay, so this one, and the size of the heart, actually the size of the heart is about a fist. Fist is simply if we close our fingers and okay, so that we called it fist. Okay, so this is a fist. Fist. The size of the human heart is approximately the size of the fist. Okay, so let's talk about further. Let's talk about the heart. So heart, this is the heart. Okay, human heart, and actually we can say that this human heart is enclosed in a sac-like structure. Are you listening to me clearly? Is my voice is given? Yes. Okay, in the heart is there, na? Bus. If we are reading, we have actually, if we are discussing the circulatory system, then without without studying heart, we cannot complete the circulatory system. Okay, so if there is circulatory system in okay, so let's discuss this one. That is an easy now. Okay, so if I'm just talking about this pericardial, sorry, this is the heart, which is we can say that this is the heart. Okay, and it is enclosed in a bag like structure, in a sac like structure. We can say sac means a bag. Okay, so we can say that it is enclosed in a bag like structure. Okay, which we call it pericardium. Okay, pericardium, what is the function of pericardium? It actually provides the mechanical support to the heart. Actually, if another layer is present here, okay, this is the heart, and we can say that another layer is present over the heart. So what may be the function of that? We can say that layer. So that will be simply, it may provide the mechanical support to the heart. Means it is providing the mechanical support, because the heart has to pump the blood and a lot of pressure is being required. So during the compression and relaxation, the heart can swell. Okay, so actually pericardium prevent the heart from swelling. Okay, from expansion, we can say that, from expansion during the relaxation. Okay, so during the time of contraction, the heart contract, so it also provides the mechanical support during the contractions also. So we can say that pericardium plays an important role in providing the mechanical support and prevent it from wear and tear, means prevent the heart from any physical damage. So and between this is the heart main layer. Okay, main layer of the heart, and this is the pericardium layer. So in between these, a specialized fluid is present. Okay, in between this, especially specialized fluid is present, that is called the pericardial fluid. We called it pericardial fluid. So pericardial fluid is present between the heart and the pericardium. Okay, pericardium. So pericardium means between the heart main layer and the pericardium layers. Okay, the function, what is the function of this pericardial layer? It reduces the friction reduce करती है and prevent heart from injuries. Okay, and it prevent the heart from injuries. Mechanical support, we can say that if there is a liquid fluid is present between the two layers, so it will provide the heart during any relaxation or contractions. We can say that it is providing the heart from any physical damage also, from any injuries also. Okay, so now you got it, what I have taught you till yet, or having any doubt regarding to this topic? Okay, so let's move further. Not talking about the heart. Okay, so actually this is the heart. Okay, this is the human heart. Okay, we have this one. This is the human heart. Okay, human heart, and it has mainly 4 chambers. How many chambers are there? There are 4 chambers. Human heart is 4 chambers. There are different organisms that has different kinds, different chambers. For example, we can say that the fishes are aquatic. Generally, the aquatic animals, the fishes, have 2 chamber hearts. They have 2 chamber heart. We can say the amphibians generally, like frog and other amphibians, they have generally 3 chamber heart, except the crocodile which have the 4 chamber heart. So amphibians generally have the 3 chamber heart, and the mammals generally have the 4 chamber heart. Okay, so now we can consider this one, that the human heart is 4 chambered. Okay, and what is the benefit of having the 4 chamber heart is that we don't get the oxygenated and deoxygenated blood intermixed. Okay, means the 4 chamber heart prevent the intermixings of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. So it actually help, we can say that it actually help us, we can say that it prevent the intermixings of blood, that which is oxygenated and deoxygenated. Okay, amphibian has a 3 chamber heart, except the crocodile which has the 4 chamber heart. Aquatic animals have the 2 chamber heart. Okay, so now talking about this in simple manner, I have drawn this heart structure here. The upper two chambers are called the atrium or auricle. The upper two chambers are called the atrium or auricle, and the lower two chamber is called the ventricles. Okay, lower two chambers are called the ventricle, the upper two chambers are called the atrium. Here the atrium, or you can say the auricle. So this is the this is the right atrium, this is the left atrium, this is the right ventricle, and this is the left ventricle. Okay, so there are the different types of ventricles, atriums, right ventricle present here. Okay, and there is a layer, we can say that there is a barrier between these two chambers, means half part of the heart is separated by this main layer, that is called the septum. So we called it septum. The septum is a dividing wall that we can say that actually this region receive the oxygenated blood, and this region receive the deoxygenated blood. So the function of septum means this mid layer is just to prevent the intermixing of blood. The oxygenated and deoxygenated blood we can say that it is being prevented here, that by the septum, that there should not be any kind of intermixing of blood takes place. Okay, so this septum layer actually differentiate the left part and the right part of the heart. Okay, and actually we can say that the septums now we have divided into two parts also. The separating layer that is being between the right atrium and the right atrium and the left atrium is called the interauricular septum. What is interauricular septums? The septum that prevent the intermixing, or we can say that is creating a barrier between the right atrium and the right ventricle. This is the whole, we can say this is the whole is septum, but we have divided the septum into two parts. If the septum is dividing the right atrium and the left atrium, we can say that it is called the interauricular septum. Auricular word come from the auricle. Okay, and we can say that if the septum is dividing the right ventricle and the left ventricle, then we can say that they are dividing the interventricular septum. Okay, got it? Or still having some doubt regarding to this one? Sure? Okay, let's move further. Okay, human heart. Now let's talk about the human heart. There are the four valves present in the human heart. Okay, in human heart there are the four valves present which prevent the backflow of blood. Actually, it prevents the backflow of the blood. Okay, so there are the four valves present in the heart which prevent the backflow of blood. Okay, the function of valve is to prevent the backflow of the blood. If the blood is moving in this direction, means if a particular direction is given to the blood, so it must not be, we can say that there should not be any kind of backflow. So to prevent the backflow of blood, there are the four valves are present. Four valves are present to prevent the backflow of blood, and four chambers are present to prevent the intermixing of blood. Okay, intermixing of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. Okay, the name of the four valves is, one is the tricuspid valve, bicuspid valve, pulmonic valve, and the aortic valve. Okay, so what is tri? Tri means that the tricuspid valve is present between the left atrium and left ventricle. Where it is present? It is present between the right atrium and the right ventricle. The tricuspid valve is present between the right atrium and the right ventricle. And actually, why we are saying it is tricuspid? Tricuspid means actually this valve has three gates like this one. Okay, and when the blood comes from, let's suppose the blood is coming from this portion. Okay, so this valve will opens and will come to this side. This will open, this will come, and this will come. Okay, so this valve will come and open like this way. Okay, so this has a three openings, we can say that is like this one. So we say this tricuspid valve. And there is a bicuspid valve present. Bicuspid valve is present between the left atrium and the left ventricle. Where it is present, let me remind you here that this one is present here, bicuspid valve is present here, and tricuspid valve is present here. Okay, so we can say that actually the tricuspid valve, where the tricuspid valve and bicuspid valve is present. Okay, so we can say that this is the tricuspid valve and the bicuspid valve. Tricuspid valve is present between the right atrium and the right ventricle. Bicuspid valve is present between the left atrium and the left ventricle. Okay, pulmonic valve, there are different valves. Pulmonic and aortic valve is present, that is the semilunar valve. We can say that semi, half, lunar matlab moon, we can say that half moon like shape. Okay, so semilunar valve. Okay, so you can say that actually the human heart has four valves: the tricuspid valve, the bicuspid valve, the pulmonic valve, and the aortic valve. Okay, why we are calling the tricuspid valve? Because of the three doors like this. The bicuspid valve is like this. We have the door in our homes like, okay, there are two doors that opens. Okay, this one is like we have seen, and we have make so many hearts in our childhood. Okay, like this. So I used to make a door like this. Okay, so this type of door is called the we can say that this type of door is called the bicuspid, means two doors system, not a single door. Okay, so this type of valve is present between the left atrium and the left ventricle. Okay, now talking about the veins. Veins are those blood vessels that usually carries impure blood, and the important factor is that they always carry blood from heart to body. That impurity may be sometime we can say have that written the start, terms and condition. Okay, but there is no terms and condition that the veins are carrying the blood from body to heart. Sorry, veins are carrying the blood from heart to body. Sorry. Body to heart. Veins always carry the blood from body to heart. Okay, the veins are those blood vessels that are carrying the blood from body to heart, and arteries carries always pure blood. Sorry, arteries carries pure blood, but there is also a terms and condition apply here. There is some cases where the arteries also carries impure blood. Okay, but we can say that the arteries carries blood from heart to body. Arteries carries blood from heart to body. There is no terms and condition. It is fixed that if I am saying the blood vessel is carrying the blood from heart to body, it means it is an artery. If a blood vessel is taking the blood from body to heart, it is simple that it is a vein. Okay, got it? Or still having some doubt regarding to this topic? You understand? Okay, so vein and arteries are the two types of blood vessels. Arteries always carry blood from body to heart, and veins always carry blood from arteries always carries blood from heart to body, and vein always carry blood from body to heart. Okay, now there is a pulmonary artery named pulmonary artery. Okay, pulmonary artery, we will talking about this one, but here you need to keep in mind that it is an artery that carries deoxygenated blood. I told you that arteries carries pure blood. Here arteries carries pure blood, but actually here the arteries are not carrying the pure blood. Pulmonary artery is that artery that is not carrying the pure blood. Okay, and similarly there is pulmonary vein. I told you that vein always carry blood from heart to body, body to heart. Vein always carry blood from body to heart, and they carry impure blood. But I told you there is this terms and condition apply here, that this is the pulmonary vein is the only vein that carries the pure blood. Okay, yeah, we can say that the oxygenated blood is being carried out by these. Okay, got it? Now let me explain you the circulatory system. Actually, how does the circulations? Yeah, double circulatory system actually. Okay, so let's talk about it. Be ready for that, and just I'm going to ask you so many questions regarding to this one. So please concentrate here. Okay. Actually, this is a body. Okay, we can consider the body including the lungs also. Okay, lungs is also part of body. We are not considering heart right now as a body, because we are considering heart as a different structure, and we are considering everything as a body. Okay, so actually the body is from different part of our body. The blood is being collected and sent to the heart, and collected and sent to the heart with the help of specialized vessel called the superior and inferior vena cava. Superior and inferior vena cava. Superior and inferior vena cava. The superior, what does the word superior mean? Superior means those blood vessels that are carrying the blood from the brain or anything that is above the heart. Okay, we will consider that as superior vena cava. Okay, and the inferior means the lower region, the blood which is coming from the lower region of our body, it is called the inferior vena cava. So they are the two major blood vessels that are carrying the blood. Okay, there are two major veins, we can say vein, that are carrying the deoxygenated blood, okay, from superior vena cava, that is from body to heart, that is the superior vena cava, and the inferior vena cava. Okay, their deoxygenated blood is being carried out from this one. Okay, now the heart, it reaches to the right atrium. Now according to my screen and according to your screen, this is the left part and this is one is the right part. But in case of heart, actually we imagine that a person is standing like this. Okay, a person is standing like this, and okay, and here it is heart. This heart is present. So according to him, according to this person, this one is its left part and this one is its right part and this one is its left part. Okay, the heart is present on the left hand side of a man generally. So we can consider this one, that the body, we are taking the body, and from the different part of our body, the blood reaches to the right atrium. Okay, are you concentrating here, Dalisha? Okay, now from right atrium, the blood reaches to the right ventricle. Okay, the blood reaches to the right ventricle. Now from here you can see that there is a wall that I have drawn here, that is such similar to like this, and I have talked to you about that. This is a tricuspid wall. Okay, so I am talking about here that it is being collected and then it reaches to the right ventricle. Right ventricle. It reaches to the right ventricle, this region. Okay, then what actually happens is there is specialized system is present here. This is called the SA node. That is called the pacemaker. That is responsible for the contraction and the relaxation of the heart. Okay, so this pacemaker help in contraction of the right atrium. When the right atrium contract, the blood reaches to the right ventricle. Okay, and actually the quality of the cardiac cell is that the cardiac cells are like this. They are like this, cardiac cells, and they have the branches, and there the intercalated discs are present in between them, that is responsible for communication between the one cell to the second cell. If this cell contract, then other cell will also contract. Okay, so if this cell relax, then other cell will relax. There is a contraction between, we can say that there is an intercalated discs are present between the cardiac cell, in the cardiac cell of the heart, that is responsible for the communication between the one cell and the another cells. And you knows very well there are the electromagnetic impulse here. We can say that the electrical impulse is being generated by the heart and the brain, that is responsible for the, we can say that, for the transformations of the signals. Okay, so when this SA node help in the contraction of this right atrium, the this valve opens and the blood reaches to the right ventricle. Here still the blood is deoxygenated, there is no oxygen is present in the blood. Now from this region, actually the blood reaches to the heart, to the lungs. The blood is reaching to the lungs, Now the blood is reaching to the lungs. Why it is reaching? To grab the oxygen. Actually oxygen is not present, so actually we have no, there is no oxygen is present till yet. The body, the deoxygenated from all part of the body, from brain to different brain and different part of our body. The blood reaches to the right atrium right now. The right atrium contracts due to the SA nodes, that is an we can say the pacemaker that help in the contractions of the different chambers of our heart. Okay, so this contract, and there is a wall present between the right atrium and the right ventricle, that we called it tricuspid wall. The tricuspid wall opens and the blood reaches to the right ventricle. Now from right ventricle, the blood is reaching from the heart. Actually this is heart and this is lungs. So heart to lungs, heart to lungs means, heart to lungs means artery. Oh my god. Heart to lungs means artery. Okay, so here we can say that the heart, so this is an artery, but actually this artery is not carrying the pure blood. We generally say that arteries are those blood vessels that are carrying the pure blood. We can say that they are carrying the oxygenated blood. But here there is a special case that the pulmonary artery, so we named it as pulma. Pulma means related to lungs. Whenever we see that there is a pulma, it means related to lungs. There is pulmonary circulation, pulmonary something. Okay, so this one is the pulmonary artery. Why we are considering, why we have specially named this artery as a pulmonary artery? Actually artery is carrying pure blood, but here this artery that is taking the blood from right ventricle to the lungs, it is not carrying the pure blood, or we can say the oxygenated blood. So this is carrying an impure or deoxygenated blood. So that's why we can consider it as a specialized name. We have a specialized name for this artery, and that is the pulmonary artery. So 1 marks question comes from this here, that which arteries carries impure blood or deoxygenated blood. So we can say that the pulmonary arteries carries deoxygenated blood. Okay, now here in the lungs, due to with the help of alveoli and other respiratory organs, the carbon dioxide is being removed, okay, from the blood, and the oxygen is being mixed, okay, with the help of hemoglobin. Now this oxygenated blood is now taken to the left atrium. It is now being taken to the left atrium. Okay, left atrium, here this is the left atrium. Okay, now this left atrium contracts, and again then the blood reaches to the left ventricle. And you can see this one, that since left ventricle has to pump the blood to the body, so a large pressure is being required, means a high pressure is being required here. Okay, so you can see that one, that in case of this, you can see that this layer and this layer, it is much thicker than the right atrium. So here in this right atrium, the layer is thin. Why? Because it does not have it from the right ventricle, the blood only reaches to the lungs. It is only pumping the blood to the lungs to get the oxygen. But this left ventricle, the blood has to pump to the body, to different part of the body. So a large pressure is being required here. So to prevent the we can say the wear and tear of the cardiac muscle of the heart, so this portion is a little bit thicker as comparison to the right atrium. The left ventricle is little bit more thicker than the right ventricle. Okay, right ventricle is not so much thicker as comparison to left ventricle. So this one is coming, and then now the oxygenated blood is being taken to the different part of the body. Need to keep in mind here that again, that from the lungs, when the oxygenated blood is there is an oxygenated blood is being converted. Okay, now this oxygenated blood is being taken to the left atrium. Now the blood is being taken to the left atrium. Here you can see it is being taken to the left atrium. So since the blood is being taken to the left atrium, and we consider that anything that is from other than the heart is considered as body. So from lungs to body, lungs to heart, it is fixed that it must be vein, because we can say the lungs is also part of body. Vein. What? Repeat it again. sorry, the blood is being taken from lungs to heart. Lungs to heart. Okay, so this means veins, but veins, we say that veins generally carries impure blood, but here the vein is carrying the oxygenated blood. So that's why this vein has a specialized name, that is known as pulmonary vein. Left atrium, it will keep atrium, then from left atrium the bicuspid valve, when this contract the bicuspid valve opens, and when bicuspid valve opens, then the blood will reaches to the left ventricle, and when the left ventricle contracts, again the bicuspid valve closes to prevent the backflow of blood. Otherwise, if this valve is not present, the blood may reach to the left atrium again, because it has to contract. Okay, so this valve get closed and the left ventricle contract, and when the left ventricle contract, it has to pump the blood to the different part of our body, that is through a major vein that is called the aorta, and this is called the double circulatory system. We call this as double circulatory system. Okay, why? Now I need to explain you one thing, that why we are considering this one as a double circulatory system. Okay, why we are considering this one as a double circulatory system? Actually, we can see the single circulatory system in the, first of all we need to discuss what is the difference between the single circulatory system and the double circulatory system. Then you might understand that why we can say that in humans the circulation of blood is, we can say that it is double circulatory system. How can we consider this one? Okay, so just look, we can say that this is a fish. Okay, in fishes, aquatic animals generally, there is only a single circulatory system is present. Okay, so in what happened in the single circulatory system, the deoxygenated blood reaches the heart. Deoxygenated blood reaches the heart. Heart pump the blood to the gills, where it is being oxygenated, and then it is being transferred to the body. Okay, this is called the single circulatory system. Actually, you can see that the deoxygenated blood reaches to the heart. The heart pump the blood to the gills, and gills pump the blood after getting the oxygen, after mixing the oxygen to the blood, the gills transfer it to the body. So how can you say that it is a single circulatory system and this one is the double circulatory system? What is the difference between the single circulatory system and a double circulatory system? Here you can see. Tell me. I'm asking here, how can I say that this is a single circulatory system and this is a double circulatory system? Are you seeing some differences between this one and this one? Are you seeing some differences? Actually, you see that the deoxygenated blood reaches to the heart. The deoxygenated blood reaches to the heart. Same. Okay. From the heart it reaches to the gills, because the gills are the respiratory organs in the fishes. So it reaches to the gills. Okay. In humans, the heart, the blood is coming to the lungs. Same. But next thing is different here, that in humans the blood has to reach again to the heart, then to the body, again to the heart. Okay, so in one complete cycle you see that first the blood is coming from different part of the body to the heart, from the heart it goes to the lungs, and from lungs it again goes to the heart, and then to the body. Our lungs are not so powerful that they can pump the blood directly to the body. If they can pump, if the lungs are so powerful and if they are capable of pumping the blood directly to the body without sending it to the heart, then we can say that we will be having the single circulatory system. But in double circulatory system, you can see that there are two times in one complete cycle, there are two times blood is going into the heart. One is from body to heart, then it goes outside the heart, then it goes into the lungs, and then again it goes to the heart, and then it again reaches to the body. So here we can say that in the different parts have in one complete cycle there are two types of system is taking place. So two complete circulation is taking place, that's why we can say that. So here it is a write a note on the double circulatory system. So we can say that in humans there is a double circulatory system. This means that the blood is circulated twice in the heart in one complete cycle. Okay, the one is a systemic circulation. Systemic circulation means body to heart and heart to body, and another one is the pulmonary circulation, means from heart to lungs and then lungs to heart. You are saying that systemic circulation means this one and this one. Okay, so this one and this one is the systemic circulation, and pulmonary circulation is pulmonary. The word pulmonary means pulmonary. Where you see pulma, it means related to lungs. So pulmonic circulation means from heart to lungs and from lungs to heart. Okay, so this is the pulmonic circulation. So in double circulatory system we have the two types of circulation. One is the systemic circulation and the other one is pulmonary circulation or pulmonic circulation, you can also say this one. Okay, so we can say that the deoxygenated blood different part of our body reaches to the right atrium. Whatever I have explained you, it is being written here. The deoxygenated blood from different part of the body reaches to the right atrium through two major veins, the superior and the inferior vena cava. Okay, from right atrium the blood reaches to the right ventricle. Then again right ventricle contracts, the blood is pumped to the lungs by pulmonary artery, where it is get oxygenated. The oxygenated blood from lungs reaches to the left atrium by pulmonary vein. From left atrium the blood reaches to the left ventricle. Whatever I have taught you, this one, that is being written here. Okay, so this is a write a note on, we can say that double circulatory system, that how does the blood circulation take place from different part of the, or we can say different part of our body and in different chambers of the heart. Okay, now got it? Cleared? Okay.